Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of Business Talks. I am your host, Chawanne Burns. In today's video, we are going to discuss Daniel Penny. You know, he was acquitted of the charges. They dropped one charge and they acquit him of this lesser charge. So we'll discuss that. We're going to discuss how BLM is reacting to the acquittal of Daniel Penny. And we also are going to discuss the CEO that was terminated outside of his hotel. And it's some strange things that's coming out surrounding Luigi, the guy that is accused of taking Brian Thompson's life. So we have that to discuss and some other side issues or smaller topics that I would like to discuss today. So you guys stay tuned for another episode of Business Talks. Something like this. Looks a little bit like I can't miss. Hey, this is what you call a bad. What? This is what you call a bad. Something like this. Looks a little bit like I can't miss. Hey, this is what you call a bad. What? This is what you call a bad. You guys put in the chat, let me know where you're viewing from. Please put in the chat, let me know where you're viewing from. I see we have Celeste Hodges in the building from Texas, Tyrone Price, South Carolina. Penny felt extreme force. Daniel Penny felt extreme force was used. Noble Young in the building. Farouk, hi from Midtown Manhattan in New York City. James Watson, hey there, Miss Burns. I love your platform, respectfully. I love you as well. Calling from Detroit. What up, though, 313? I'm just a little bit outside of Detroit, but I used to live in Detroit for about 15, 20 years. Anyway, anger mismanagement. Hello from Cooksville, Indiana. Is that a real city? Or are you being sarcastic? Anger mismanagement. Lexi is in the building. What's good, Lexi? Justin Thompson is in the building. Miss Sandy Rodriguez. What is good? Hello, everyone. I want to talk about Daniel Penny first for our first conversation. Now, I'm on the fence about Daniel Penny. I don't think it was like a malicious type of, they're trying to make it a racial issue. I guess BLM is trying to make a racist issue. I don't think it was one of those things. I think Daniel Penny, at the time he was 24, he was an ex-Marine. So he probably had, I need to save the day mentality. And so he acted upon that. I don't think he acted just because, oh, this is a black guy, let me just restrain him. No, I don't think. Now, the moves that he used, was it a smart move? No, because we could see Jordan Neely was much smaller than Daniel Penny. It probably wouldn't take much to restrain him. But after they did the autopsy report on Jordan Neely, he did have some substances in him that maybe that's probably why he was acting erratic, on top of his mental health condition. So one, I do not believe it was done out of, some type of racial motivation. I do not believe that. Number two, I do believe Daniel Penny, most black folks mind their own business. I think that's where Daniel Penny went wrong. He didn't mind his own business because he was from a different town other than New York. And most New Yorkers know, hey, we deal with this all the time. We normally just ignore people talking crazy. Unless, they make advances towards you. Okay, that's when you react. So do I think he act out of, haste? Yeah, I do. But he did it. Okay, so that's where we get these charges from. They tried to convict him of manslaughter. I think it was a count 2 manslaughter charge. And then there was another murder 2. Yeah, I think it was murder 2 that they was trying to put on him. But They end up finding him not guilty for this negligent homicide. Okay, they found him not guilty. Now, and a lot of people are upset. If you look at particularly black folks and Black Lives Matter, they're coming out and they're really trying to activate their base and calling for people to really so-called vigilantes to burn this city down. Not my words. That's what they were saying, So let's just read through this one particular story about the verdict. So, and it says the verdict was finally reached of Daniel Penny. The verdict was reached yesterday. They did drop the charges on Friday of the higher charge. They dropped that on Friday. So, and that's when the BLM kind of got really upset about it. And they said not guilty in the New York City subway chokehold case. A jury on Monday found former Marine Daniel Penny now guilty of criminally negligent homicide in the death of Jordan Neely, a homeless man who Penny placed in a chokehold on board a New York City subway car last year. This was around 11:30 a.m. Monday. The jury told the judge that they reached a unanimous verdict on the second count in the case, the more serious charge of the second-degree manslaughter. It was second-degree manslaughter. I don't know why I thought murder too or whatever, but second-degree manslaughter was dismissed on Friday after the jury was unable to reach a verdict on it. Okay, so I guess maybe it was a hung jury. So they pretty much the hung jury, and it was deadlock. Nobody was swaying. It might have been one or two people, or maybe it was 4 or 5 people, but it was a hung jury. Anyway, the case catapulted into a national spotlight after the video of the chokehold went viral following Neely's death, which a New York City medical examiner ruled was caused by compression of the neck. Neely suffered from schizophrenia, was high on synthetic marijuana, and was shouting that he was hungry, thirsty, and fed up seconds before Penny put him in a restraint learned during training with the Marine Corps. In a trial that lasted more than 6 weeks, the prosecution argued Penny, 26, was negligent in keeping the unarmed Neely in a chokehold for about 6 minutes, even after he stopped resisting. The defense said Penny was defending fellow passengers after Neely threatened to kill them and acted psychotic. This is why people are upset about this whole thing. You restrained him. And number one, him being a Marine, he probably knows different, moves to restrain an individual. You don't have to go for a chokehold or anything like that. You could have went for some other type of force. Anyway, defense attorney Steve Razor said Monday he wouldn't yet comment on the case. When the first count was dropped on Friday, he said his team hoped Penny could soon put the nightmare behind him and the lawyers could begin focusing on a civil lawsuit brought against him by Neely's father over his son's death. This is another thing. Neely's father is trying to sue him. And I'm going to get more into Neely's father, but he's trying to sue him over causing the son of his death. He probably will get awarded some money. I don't know how much money Daniel Penny has, because he is a 26. And 2 of those years, he's probably haven't been really working, probably been hiding, So anyway, don't know how that's going to pan out. And so Manhattan District Attorney Alvin Bragg said in a statement, "We deeply respect the jury process and respect their verdict." He also said it was unacceptable prosecutors were subjected to threats over the case, withdrew public protests. Okay. I'm pretty sure Daniel Penny received some threats as well. So I'm not for sure why would he say that, but this is not one-sided thing. You know, it's just one of those things that is very polarizing. This is a polarizing, I guess, topic. It all depends on who you're speaking to. Neely had been screaming at passengers before Penny subdued him by putting him in a chokehold to prevent him from harming anyone else, the defense argued. Prosecutor says Penny recklessly used too much force too long, starving the 30-year-old former Michael Jackson tribute artist of Oxygen. Late Friday afternoon, the prosecution asked the judge to dismiss the charge of the second-degree manslaughter after the jury deadlock. It says the system failed Neely's family. Family lawyer says. The lawyer for Neely's family said it was unfathomable. The jury acquitted Penny, an opinion shared by supporters who believe that the former Marine extended chokehold snuffed out Neely's life. "We thought that the system would be there for us, but it's not," attorney Dante Mills, who is representing Neely's family in a civil suit. Okay. Mills said that while some are calling Penny a hero for subduing Neely after he started screaming on the subway car, Jordan didn't have the hero. This Today article is very biased. Before they started rolling the cameras and they got other people testifying that was on the subway car, that Neely talking about, "I'm ready to die today. Somebody better give me a sandwich. I don't care. I'm ready to die and take whoever with me." They didn't say that. Oh, he was saying, "I'm thirsty. I need some food." No, that's not what the man said. He said, "I'm ready to die today. I'm ready to take anybody else out with me." So, I think this news article is biased. Did he deserve to die? Probably not. I think the system failed Jordan Neely because he was on probation. And, before he was on probation and he had a bench warrant for his arrest during the time of the incident. Jordan Neely did. He had a bench warrant for his arrest, okay? And the bench warrant, he was supposed to fulfill this psychiatric requirements, and it was outpatient psychiatric requirements. And they shouldn't have did that. This man should have been in psychiatric care. He shouldn't have been out on the subway harming people. They said few years ago, he kidnapped a 7-year-old girl. He punched some old grandma in the face, and he assaulted some other lady. And from that assault of punching somebody in the face, I think it was a 62-year-old person or 72-year-old woman, one of those things. That's why he was reprimanded to this outpatient therapy, and he wasn't following the rules of his therapy, and they put a bench warrant out. But this man has been arrested for 42 times. So Daniel Penny, being from another place other than New York, that's not used to all this hoopla, he thought like, oh, I got to, protect the citizens of the United States of America because I'm a Marine. I mean, I'm laughing about it, but that's what my take on it. He thought, hey, this dude is crazy. So anyway, and he did what he did. So They dropped the manslaughter charge. Now, what they're not telling you in this article, let me see if they tell you in this article before I tell a lie. Monday, quick verdict. What they're not telling you in this article, the jury was of his peers. It was 7 white people, 7 women, 7 white people. I don't know if all the women was white, but it was 7 white people, 2 black people, 7 women, 5 men, 7 white, 5 minorities, 2 black people, 2, I think it was Arab, and 1 Mexican. That's what the jury comprised of. So you might be upset about the verdict and all that stuff and them reaching the deadlock because they was trying to, there were some people that thought, hey, he should be convicted of the 2nd-degree manslaughter charge. But then some people didn't think. It wasn't unanimous. So they couldn't convict him. So it's the jury of his peers. So I don't know what more justice would you think about. You did have minorities on the jury, and they said no, he wasn't guilty. So do you think the minorities were racist, all of them? Or do you think they listened to the evidence that was presented to them and they said, no, I don't think Daniel Penny was negligent homicide or negligent, what was it called? Brain fart already. I need to go back. Criminally negligent homicide. They didn't think not guilty. Negligent homicide, they didn't think it was that. So what do you do about that? Do you say the jury was absolutely being biased? I'm sorry, my correction. The jury comprised of 7 whites, 2 blacks, 1 Filipino, 1 Middle Eastern, and 1 Hispanic. That's the jury of your peers. 63% white folks and the rest minorities. That sounds about right. And you got to have a unanimous decision for you to convict somebody. Everybody got to agree. And they didn't. And the only unanimous decision was negligent homicide. And they said, no, he didn't do it. So, then you have BLM. You guys put in chat. Let me see what your comments on that about. How do you feel about that? Farouk is saying BLM is a racist Marxist organization and they are anti-American communists and are inciting violence and terrorism. They are a terrorist organization. They are. You describe BLM to the T. Marxist organization, anti-American communists. That's exactly who BLM is. And they are a George Soros funded foundation. The DOJ must investigate and prosecute these idiots. Your words, not my words. Daniel Penny will eventually get introduced to Trump, and the propaganda fake news media will jump all over Trump and Penny by accusing them being racist. Exactly. I didn't see race in the thing. I just don't see it. I just seen Daniel Penny as a Marine saying, hey, I gotta save the day. That's what I see. Maybe I'm just being green or try not to see color out of everything, but I didn't see that. And then, they didn't mention, on that video when Daniel Penny was trying to restrain him and hold him down, it was a black guy helping him. So it's like, he wasn't the only guy trying to restrain him. But it fell on, since Daniel Penny was, put him in a chokehold, it was on him. They put all the actually blame on him. Martin Phillips, I'm a black Democrat. Alvin Bragg reminds me of Al Sharpton, a person looking to make money. This case should have never been brought to court. That's funny you say that as a Democrat. I don't think it should have been either. I don't know if you guys remember, a month after Daniel Penny was, I guess, grand juried, there was another incident where the guy stabbed another guy like 40 something times in the subway. They let him go. They let that guy go. It was a black guy. They let him go. You don't see no Black Lives Matter talking about, oh, we need justice. This dude stabbed him the other guy does 40 something times. It was really ridiculous. But they let that guy go. Anyway, Farouk, she's 80 years old. Who's 80 years old? I'm not for sure what you're talking about. Anger mismanagement. NY gun laws don't make the crazy think twice about acting a fool. Yeah, what's NYC gun laws? They have CCWs there? I'm not for sure you could carry concealed weapons unless you have it. But yeah, they don't care. I seen the older guy. He was tussling with some younger guys, and the older guy thought, like, why the hell am I tussling with you? So he pulled out his weapon. They scattered like little roaches. But yeah, I think it, when you're crazy, you're crazy. Lexi, if Neely had attacked someone on a train and nobody did nothing, people be saying a Marine was right there and he did nothing to save the person being attacked. Exactly. Damn if you do, damn if you don't. I was in a room on X and they were talking about this whole situation, and the black guys was like, yeah, Daniel Penny should have kept his hands to himself and mind his own MF and business. The guy was only 120 pounds. I think a guy that's 120 pounds could do just as much damage if the guy is 150 pounds. So I don't think it's not a good case. Now, to a man, probably not. But to a woman, yeah. It doesn't matter what the size of the guy, it's a guy. But then there was a white guy in the audience, and he said, well, just turn it around. If a white guy was doing all this, saying I'm ready to die and I want some food and I'm taking people out with me, and a black guy subdued him and subsequently he died, what would you do about this? So when I always look at as when incidents happen this way, I would think, okay, let's switch up the race. If this was a white guy versus a black guy or a black guy in this situation, how would I feel about it? Will I feel the same way? If I wouldn't feel the same way, then there's some type of bias there. But if I feel the exact same way, oh, he should not have did this and it should have been a totally different outcome, then I don't think it's some implicit bias in your thought process. But he made a very excellent point. What if it was a black guy? The black guy subdued Jordan Neely. How would you feel? We wouldn't even hear about this. This would have been like another quote unquote black on black crime. Or you would have had a whole bunch of people. Well, shit, they should have had him. He should have been in the house anyway. People feel totally different when it's their race. Anyway, Farouk negotiate Lexi, race has zero to do with this case. Yeah, I absolutely agree with you. And BLM are just warning up for the inauguration. They are. They got 40 days to warm up. It's like 40 days left and they warming up. It wasn't racism, Roger Carson. People in New York, get rid of your district attorney, right? I thought BLM was under investigation. I think they are, but I'm not for sure. I think they're like their national office. I don't know about their local office. So this, I want to share this guy with you because, you know, we get to hear. Let me just. Okay, so this was the BLM, the founder of BLM of Greater New York, calls for riots over Daniel Penny manslaughter charge being dismissed. Meanwhile, Jordan Williams stabbed and killed a homeless man to stop him from attacking people on the New York train, and all his charges were dropped. This is pure hatred. Okay, so this is the guy I was telling you about, Jordan Williams. No audio. Hold on. Let me do it again. My bad.
Found Black Lives.
Hold on for a second. Okay. Y'all should be able to hear it now.
Matter, Greater New York. I stand here heartbroken because I have to hug a father who knows that the murderer of his son will most likely go free, who has to look in the face of a jury that no matter the facts, no matter the expert witnesses, no matter the people yelling on that train that day to let Jordan go, you will kill him. They will not find a white man guilty of killing a black man in modern day America. This is no different than Jim Crow. This looks like a picture out of the picture book when you look at that anonymous jury. We have baby boomers who were there during Jim Crow on this jury. We have young people who are looking at Daniel Penny as a hero. And what America is a hero, a killer. He didn't give a crap about Jordan. The medical examiner said Jordan turned purple. Yes, black people can turn purple when they're denied oxygen. Every lab report showed he died of asphyxiation. And that doesn't matter because they want to spare a white man the penalty of his crimes. America has not changed, and I hate to say it, it may never change. And people who keep asking, are we going to riot? Are we going to protest? Is that what's needed? Do glass have to break? Do cars have to burn for a black man to get justice in America? We can't show up with peace. We can't show up with facts. We can't show up with evidence and witness after witness. You give us nothing. And then you ask us to love this country. America hates black people, and we see it from that jury pool.
So, I mean, you see it from the jury pool, but the jury pool was a jury of your peers. I mean, this is why I don't understand this argument. I mean, it's a jury of your peers. So I'm not for sure. I don't know why. I mean, I could see she's being passionate. I guess she feels wrong, but I think it's a stretch. You know, this is why the justice system exists. You can have a trial by jury or a trial by judge. And are we surprised that people are starting to look at the evidence and see, okay, nah, I don't think this fit the charges for this guy. This is the other guy I was telling you, and I didn't know the guy was homeless. But yeah, he stabbed a homeless person, and I guess he stopped this homeless person from attacking other people, and they end up letting him go. This is this other guy. Black lives do not matter to BLM. This is what Tim said. I don't know who Tim is, but this is on his post. He said, Black lives do not matter to BLM. They have already been exposed as a corrupt money grab. Daniel Penny is a hero for protecting the strangers from the madman. No one cares what color the madman's skin was.
Do not matter. Black people pick. Call him a hero. How? Would Daniel Penny be a hero if Jordan Neely was white? No. He'd be a man that went too far. But that's America. Black lives do not matter to you. They didn't matter in the 2000s. They didn't matter in the 50s and 60s. They didn't matter in the 1800s. Black lives do not matter in America. Black people don't mean anything to white America. Pick. Call him a hero.
This is what they're saying. So black lives do not matter.
Vigilantes. We need.
And this is him again. He's calling for vigilantes to come out.
Just like everybody else has vigilantes. We need some black vigilantes.
That's right.
People want to jump up and choke us and kill us for being loud. How about we do the same when they attempt to oppress us?
Right.
I'm tired. I know you're looking for us to be like, oh, go and march. No. This weekend, I want you to hold a community event everywhere from the Bronx to Houston to Seattle to Florida. Black people hold community event and talk about what you need. Just like everybody else has vigilantes.
So I don't know what the purpose of him. I guess he's trying to call people out to get ready for war. I'm not for sure. You guys let me know what you think. Let me know what you think about that. Yeah, I don't know why they said. Now this is a video where they knew Jordan Neely was alive. He was alive. They said he died on a train, but I thought he died at the hospital. But I don't know why they are just releasing this. But I believe Jordan Neely died at the hospital. But they're saying on this body cam reveals that the police detected a pulse on Jordan Neely after he was put in a chokehold. After the behest BLM, who called it a racist killing, George Soros, Alvin Bragg is falsely prosecuting the manslaughter. Penny is innocent. So, you see them, they're not administering. I guess they was trying to.
Are you listening to the people?
They was doing CPR on them, but somebody noticed a post. But anyway. This is Jordan Neely's father. Before I go on and talk about our next story, but this is Jordan Neely's father. Okay, Jordan Neely's father says, let's do something about this in response to Daniel Penny being found not guilty. Black Lives Matter will be using this verdict to wrongfully raise money and potentially commit criminal acts. BLM need to be prosecuted. So this is Jordan Neely's dad talking.
I just want to say, I miss my son. My son didn't have to go through this. I didn't have to go through this either. It hurts. Really, really hurts. What are we going to do, people? What's going to happen to us now? I had enough of this. System is rigged. Come on, people. Let's do something about this.
Let's do something about it. Too often. We have Eric Garner's mother here. There's too often this is happening where we...
Now on Jordan Neely's dad. Now let's think about this. Your son was arrested 42 times. He was homeless. And he was battling schizophrenia. He's been homeless since his mama passed away. I forgot what his mama passed away of, but she passed away. Let me just look it up. I think it was a few years prior to him dying. Oh, it's very tragic. His mother passed away. His mother, this was a while back. His mother passed away a long time ago when he was a teenager. She was killed, okay? She was killed. So, and this is an interesting topic. So Jordan Neely was basically homeless since he was a teenager. Reason why he was homeless, because his daddy wasn't around. His daddy wasn't nowhere to be found. But now Jordan Neely's daddy is trying to profit off his death. Well, you didn't care about your son. You weren't even around. You was not around.
When he finally met his fate at the hands of Marine veteran Daniel Penny, who had been charged with his death, New York City leaders from Congresswoman Alexandria Cortez to Lieutenant Governor Antonio Delgado showed up at the funeral. Activist and MSNBC host Al Sharpton delivered the eulogy where he predictably blamed systemic racism for Neely's death. At that time, I said, where were all of you when he was alive?
Hello, America. I'm Pastor Corey Brooks.
From the south side of Chicago to the nation's capital, this is Rooftop Revelations. Many of you know me as the Rooftop Pastor. I recently spent 343 days living on top of a roof through Chicago's cold and heat to bring awareness to the violence and to raise money for this much needed community center that you see being built behind me. And because of the many donations from Americans just like yourself, we are raising the needed funds for this glorious leadership and economic community centers. We aim nothing less than the full transformation of Chicago's most violent block, O Block, into Opportunity Block. Here we discuss issues, local to national, from the streets to the Capitol. For you who have been on the journey with us, welcome back. And if this is your first time watching Rooftop Revelations, we're glad you're joining us for this latest edition of Rooftop Revelation.
It's fair to say that New York City resident Jordan Neely was born unlucky. Neely was living on the streets when he died. As Fox News has reported, he had with a lengthy criminal history and shouted death threats in a subway car before he was subdued and choked out. When he was 14 years old, Neely's mother was murdered by her abusive boyfriend. The murderer left her body in a suitcase on the side of New York City's Henry Hudson Parkway. Young Neely had to testify in court on his mother's behalf. Imagine how that traumatizes that young mind. Then Jordan was immediately placed in foster care as an orphan. One is lucky to find love or human compassion within the foster care system, and it's likely that Neely did not. Despite possessing enough talent to impersonate Michael Jackson on subway platforms throughout New York City, Jordan struggled with homelessness, drug abuse, and mental health issues, including depression and schizophrenia. He was also arrested 42 times for petty larceny, jumping subway turnstiles, and 3 assaults on women. When he finally met his fate at the hands of Marine veteran Daniel Penny, who had been charged with his death, New York City leaders from Congresswoman Alexandria Cortez to Lieutenant Governor Antonio Delgado showed up at the funeral. Activist and MSNBC host Al Sharpton delivered the eulogy where he predictably blamed systemic racism for Neely's death. At that time, I said, where were all of you when he was alive? Then I recently learned that George's father, Andre Zachary, filed a lawsuit against Daniel Penny that demands judgment awarding damages in a sum which exceeds the jurisdictional limits of all lower courts, which would otherwise have jurisdiction. Now I was incensed. Where the heck was Zachary all these years? What did he do for his son who had to witness an abusive relationship? Where was he when his son was shipped off to the foster care system? Where was all those years his son was in the system? Did he visit him even once? Where was he when his son got out? Where the heck was he when his son was dealing with the demons all by himself and drifting in and out of homelessness? Where was he? And now he shows up when his son is cold and buried. To be clear, he didn't show up for Jordan. He showed up for himself. Andre Zachary was never a father in any meaningful way and does not deserve this precious title. This angers me in ways that most people wouldn't understand. I minister and work on the south side of Chicago, and I understand how detrimental the absentee father has been to our community. I work with them every day. I counsel them on how God has blessed them with the children and how it is their sacred responsibility to be there and raise the child. I provide these young men with pathways to opportunities. I've seen them leave paths of destruction to become forklift operators and construction workers. Some have even returned to college while working a full-time job. These men are the good men. They were lost, but the possibility of redemption was within them, and they simply needed a nudge in the right direction. They are nothing like the lost soul that Andre Zachary still is. While I would never turn my back fully on any man, that man has never shown 1 ounce of fatherhood. I know there are those who will try to use race to excuse him because he is black, but that is immoral. Almost every absentee father I deal with is black. If I allowed that to be an excuse, then where would we be as a society? That is why I stand here and hold Andre Zachary fully accountable for he played a role in his son's death. That is what he needs to acknowledge. If he wants to make it right with a far higher power than money, God, if he chooses this unholy pursuit of money, then we must make an example out of him. God bless you and God bless America. This has been another Rooftop Revelation.
Yeah, I can't get mad at that. Where was he? I thought it was, I didn't know it was teenager years, but I know he wasn't around, so your kid went into foster care, and you come out, you decide, oh, I miss my son. My son is this, my son is that. I miss him so very much. You don't even know your son. You don't even know your son. Your son, you had nothing to do with your son. And it's your fault that your son went through the things that he went through because you was an absent father. Anyway. Kennard the DJ said his daddy was in the PM spinal report jobs. Kennard, I don't got time for you today. Sandy is saying Jordan's father's civil lawsuit isn't going anywhere. He isn't going to win. It's going to get thrown out. Penny doesn't even have any money, right? The father failed him. It's sad. And I think it's very safe to say that, we could blame a lot of people for a lot of things. And it's easy to point the fingers. Oh, you should have did this or you should have did that. But I'm a firm believer. 95% of your problems is caused by yourself. The actions that you decided to do. There's some stuff that, that's out of your control, especially when you're younger. In Jordan Neely's case, when he was a teenager, he didn't decide to, choose his mama and her boyfriend, and he couldn't, those actions was out of his control. But after he became of age, 18, now you could kind of control your dealings and your surroundings, but he didn't have the people or the support system to guide him to the necessary treatment that he needed. So it is sad. It's very sad that this young man he had a very hard life. He had a hard life. And Andre Zachary is probably the one to blame for his demise, not Danielle Penny. Danielle Penny is just an outside force. Okay. So that's it. You guys let me know what you think about that particular story. Okay, we're going to get up to our next topic, and it is about the UnitedHealthcare CEO. The UnitedHealthcare CEO, we know that they found the guy. They apprehended Luigi Mangione. I think that's how you pronounce his name. They apprehended him. And it's been some strange stuff that I've been learning about this guy. Okay. Okay, just a little bit about Luigi Mangione. I think that's how you pronounce his name. Sounds Italian. You guys let me know. It says he was 26 or is 26 years old, and he went to the University of Pennsylvania. He graduated a class of 2020 with degrees in engineering, and he also was a valedictorian. That's what it's saying on this thing. Class of valedictorian with degrees of engineering, valedictorian of his high school at Gilman School of Maryland in 2016, said he comes from a prominent family, and one of his cousins is a delegate of Maryland, and his name is Nino Mangione. Okay. They're saying, yesterday we talked about his arrest. They found him at a McDonald's in Pennsylvania, Altoona, Pennsylvania. It says some images have been circulating about the suspect, and that's when they was able to track him down in Pennsylvania. This guy has an IQ, Luigi, they said he has an IQ above 130. So very smart individual. And this is why I think this is really weird, okay? So when they arrested the suspect, he still had his fake IDs that he used in New York. He didn't decide to get away, throw them away. He had the fake IDs that he used to check in the hotel. I guess he still had the gun on him. And a note. This is what they're claiming. And the charges included, or what they're trying to charge him for. In Pennsylvania, he was charged with forgery, carrying firearms without a license, tampering with records and identification, possessing an instrument of crime, and providing false identification to law enforcement. And in New York, he's facing a second-degree murder, possessions of a loaded firearm, possession of a forged instrument, and criminal possession of weapon. So when they found him, they said he was found with what is described a ghost gun. Okay, it says a firearm without serial numbers, often homemade or 3D printed, and a suppressor. Documents, a handwritten manifesto was discovered criticizing the U.S. healthcare system, indicating Mangione's perceived ill will towards corporate America, and fake IDs. He possessed multiple fraudulent IDs. One was used to check in a New York hostel. You have an IQ of 130. Why would you keep all the evidence? I'm not a conspiracy theorist. I'm not the sharpest tool in the shed. But it doesn't make sense. It just doesn't make sense to me. Is he off his rockers? I got to have more information, because the guy that they're describing in here is not a guy of a genius. He had this plan, articulate plan, by the way, to stay posted up in New York for three weeks. He planned this for about 3 weeks, and then you was able to escape the scene. But you escaped the scene and you kept all the evidence. And then listen to this, you guys. Then they're telling us, they're convincing us. The mainstream media is telling us they're looking for the guy with the eyebrows, the unibrows. We saw this guy, and then they end up finding another picture, full face picture of him. And they said, oh, this is the guy. This is what they're telling us. Motive, they're saying anti-capitalist. Mangione has been described as having an anti-capitalist view, with the online activity showing support for climate change activists and criticism of the healthcare system. Healthcare system and climate change doesn't really go hand in hand. It doesn't even make any sense. I don't even know why they mention that. He said, it says the Unabomber influenced him, reportedly gave Ted Kaczynski the Unabomber manifesto 4 stars on Goodreads, suggesting an alignment with some of the Kaczynski's critics of modern society. The Mangione family expressed shock and devastation over his arrest, of course. There's been significant online discussions with some hailing Mangione as some sort of anti-hero for his actions against large corporations, while others condemn any support for such violence. Okay. Now, this is an interesting story. Where is it at? Why is it not coming up? I wanted to share with you. See, are you still with me? Our we had a power outage. That's why our stream got disconnected. So sorry about that. This is what we had to go through out here. This is crazy. Okay, anyway, I don't know what point I left off on, but what I was getting at is very interesting that they're trying to portray this guy as unplanned. Pennsylvania, and you kept all that. To me, it doesn't make any sense. It really doesn't make any sense. And then you had the mainstream media telling us that, is my stream out again? Telling us that they're telling us that you should be on the lookout for this guy, and this guy actually did it. I like I said, I just don't believe it. It's not believable to me. It's just not believable. Anyway, so I just want to share this particular story with you. Screen. It says, I never got the impression he will self-destruct. Friends of the suspect is fatal CEO shooting left in shock. So his friends are saying, hey, this is really not like him.
Let's go. All right, let's go.
Here in this arena, we'll be answering the question, who would win the war?
And this is from CNN.
RJ, I mean, you and I are speaking here in a conversation that hours ago you never in your life would have thought you would be having. Were you shocked when you learned that your friend was the suspected killer?
Beyond shocked. It's unimaginable. I was roommates with him.
You guys let me know if you
In your co-living community.
He was had good relationships with everyone. He was even, in some ways, a bit of a leader. He helped spearhead a book club that we started just so we could, keep those intellectual pursuits alive from back when we were in school.
So you mentioned that he was into health. How did that manifest himself? And you mentioned you went hiking together, things like that. Can you tell us more about that? Why he cared about health? And I understand also that at one point you did become aware of some issues with his back.
Yeah, so when I first interviewed him before he moved in, I remember he said he had a back issue and he was hoping to get stronger in Hawaii. So he's always focused on trying. When he first came, he went on a surf lesson with other members, and unfortunately, just a basic surf lesson, he was in bed for about a week. We had to get a different bed for him that was more firm, and I know it was really traumatic and difficult. When you're in your early 20s and you can't, do some basic things, it can be really, really difficult.
Did he have any conversations with you then or even afterwards about that issue? And I mean, his back, how he hurt it? I mean, obviously anything to do with the insurance process of it?
The only thing he ever mentioned, he mentioned, I need to go back to see my doctor and then I'm going to have surgery. I encouraged him and brought him to yoga classes. He would do calisthenics on his own. I know he was really focused on being strong and healthy, but it also weighed on him that he knew that there was an impending surgery.
If I could go back to my younger self who was so sick, I wish I could show her this beautiful day.
Your second chance starts now.
Second Chance Stage, streaming exclusively on Max.
Chief Monahan, I mean, you've seen a lot of different kind of crime and criminal.
I don't know why they cut that video off like that, but so he was a nice person, basically. I mean, he had some back issues. This mother reported him missing. I think this is what people are saying. It's saying that weeks before brazen shooting in New York City, suspect Luigi Mangione's mom reported him missing. The man accused, which is Luigi, it says reported missing by his mother after displaying concerning behavior on several occasions, according to the report. They said they confirmed it on Monday. The San Francisco Standard, citing the police source, reported that Mangione's mother, Kathleen Mangione, reported her son missing to the San Francisco Police Department on November the 18th. Okay, look at this guy that they got in the prison. Did he pee on himself? What is that? What's going on? CNN also reported that Mangione appeared to be mostly vanished from social media over the summer, according to the family and friends. The outlet report that he had posted often online, sharing photos of his travels and documenting reviews of more than 300 books he read before seemingly halting his posts over the summer. The sudden social media drop off prompted one follower on X to reach out and tag him in a concerning post this past October. Nobody has heard from you in months, and apparently your family is looking for you. And this is what the user post, according to the CNN, added. I don't know if you're okay. Another user wrote that they hadn't heard from Mangione in months, according to the outlet, and the reference Mangione going to radio silent on him regarding commitments he made to help with their wedding. A third used message Mangione publicly telling him that they were thinking of him and adding, "No, you're missing, missed and loved." So this is the guy this is Luigi Mangione. You see how buff he is. He got some weight on him on this picture. He looks very fit. But this is the guy they arrested. These things are killing me. These ads. Does this look like the same guy? This guy right here? I mean, I guess it could be the same guy. He looks pretty frail in this picture. They said he had back surgery. But what does that, just because you had back surgery, what does that have to do with anything? His spine was kind of misaligned. Martin said, according to the publication, he said his lower vertebrae were almost like a half inch off, and I think it pinched a nerve. Sometimes he'll be doing well and other times not. The outlet stated he suffered from debilitating pain, and at times he had switched out his mattress after taking part in a group surfing lesson. Martin added that to the New York Times magazine, said he wasn't in a relationship as he knew that dating would be physically intimate with his back condition wasn't possible. I remember him telling me that, and my heart just breaks. Excuse me. So, I mean, it's still not giving me a reason why would he go out and take this guy out. You have back pain. What does that have to do with UnitedHealthcare? Okay, you don't like capitalism. Still, why this guy? So there's been some things online that I've been seeing like, oh, maybe he was an agent of the CIA. Maybe so. Maybe he was some type of Secret Service person. I'm not for sure that was hired to take him out. I don't think we're going to ever find a reason why Mangione actually took this guy's life. It doesn't make sense to me. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense even with Donald Trump's, the guy that attempted to shoot. Actually, he did shoot him. And he was able to get past Secret Service and post up on the rooftop and actually was able to fire off bullets. Doesn't make sense. I don't know how they missed that. So these are one of the things, or one of the cases that we probably will never know the details about it. Because, well, and we might know. It might come out. I don't know. Is he has he plead anything yet? I'm not for sure. But it doesn't make sense to me. I know sometimes things doesn't piece up together, but this, it really doesn't make any sense. You guys put it in chat. Let me know what you think. Muwata saying it's a clone. Well, some people are saying, it could be just a totally different guy that they're looking for, and they pinned it on him. But I don't know. Where is that article at? Where am I at? Like, this is him. It's a picture from Facebook. We talking about Luigi or Brian? Luigi, it doesn't make sense that Luigi killed Brian. Luigi was the high IQ person. They said he read over 500 or 300 books. Somebody put their hands up if you read over 300 books. Put your hands up. I only know a few of those people. And none of them I know personally. I mean, online. 300 books, never did it. Nothing doesn't make sense anymore, Chawanne. I know, but I'm trying to make sense of it. I'm really trying because, like I said, the media is telling me that this is this guy that has a high IQ individual and had this well thought out plan. And when you escape, now you're all of a sudden low IQ because you keep the gun, you keep all the evidence with you. Did he have a mental break? I mean, what is going on? You lose all your intellectual thought and you just keep everything that could pin you to this thing. And for a person to have a back problem, why would you want to be? I'm pretty sure he's looked at, oh, if I get caught, I'm going to be in a 5x9 cell, and the mattress there is like these little thin mats, and they're on a steel frame. So that's not going to be good for your back. So if this is debilitating pain, wouldn't you think you'll plan a bigger or a more elaborate escape? Not for sure. Farouk said they'll find out. Brittany is saying, just so we're all aware, people who are openly racist and openly white supremacists are celebrating the Penny verdict like they just won the Super Bowl. We are celebrating the same thing as them. I don't know. I don't know. Brittany, when I hear the word white supremacist, I think it's used so loosely. I'm like, oh, okay, white supremacy. Like, who are those people? You know, when I think of white supremacy, I think like we're talking about the KKK. I don't know nobody that's in the KKK. Me personally, I don't know no David Duke people. I don't know them. I just don't know them. So I think they use, that word loosely. So it doesn't really have really weight, when I hear those words, because I think they just label everybody white supremacists. I don't think everybody's a white supremacist. Anyway, Farouk said it could be MK Ultra. Yeah, maybe he's a super secret soldier. Maybe so. Anger mismanagement is saying back surgery is a risk. That's another thing. You're young. It's not like he's an older person. You're young. So why would you you jump from, I don't want to do chiropractic, calisthenics. What is it? Acupuncture, chiropractic visits, therapy, physical therapy. You went from that to back surgery. So that's kind of odd to me. I mean, I know you're, wealthy. I think he comes from a upper middle class, maybe middle upper class background, maybe rich, maybe. But you went from, hey, my back hurting to back surgery. That doesn't make any sense. Muwata, I have read over 300 books. Okay. I stand corrected. What is your IQ? 300 books is a lot of books. That's just a lot of books. And I don't know how old you are. So if you're, you could read 12 books a year. So a book a month. That's a lot of reading. I mean, you got to be 50? I mean, just put it in chat. Let me know the rate you're reading books. That's what I'm saying. He wanted to get caught, Farouk. Yeah, probably so. If Penny was my son, that soldier that murdered my son prepared to be deleted. yeah, you know, you have some people that some people will take justice in their own hands in that regards, which, you know, you can't blame them. But Jordan Neely's father is acting like he was there. He wasn't. This boy been through the system his whole entire life since his mother's been dead. It's disgusting. So we could really blame Jordan Neely's father for Jordan Neely's death, really, because he wasn't there. He wasn't there. He was homeless. He was battling mental health issues. He didn't have people, a support system. He's been in the system his whole entire life. So Brittany been talking to herself. Okay. I've read 600 books in the 6th grade and got an award. Let me see what kind of books you read. I'm trying to find my, okay. Hold on. Were they these kind of books? These kind of books are chapter books. 6th grade, I think you will be reading chapter books, right? Chapter books in 6th grade. My son is in 6th grade. He read books, really thick books. So, but he's not reading 600 books. He'll probably read about maybe 5 or 6 books a year. I mean, I think normal IQ people probably reading 5, 6 books a year if you got a job and you don't spend all your time reading, all your extra time reading. Now, I think it's very possible that you could finish a book a month. I think that's because I used to do that very frequently, especially during the pandemic, because I ain't had nothing to do. But 600 books, I take my hat off to you, because that's a lot of reading. And I'll be interested to see, or maybe you could put that in the comments. What type of books do you read too? Are these mystery books, fiction or nonfiction? That I would like to know that. Why? Yeah, there's a reason no man or woman going against spiritual evil on their own stands a chance. That's why scripture says greater is he that is in the world, that is in you, that is which is in the world. One of the best book I read is titled, I got to look that up. Okay. On the news, they said his self-esteem was low because he couldn't have a girlfriend. He was in pain and couldn't surf. Yeah, I could see, being kind of, I think he could have still got a girlfriend. He looks good. A girl would have been like, oh, I'll take care of you. But I think he probably talking about relations. He couldn't do the do. He couldn't do the do. So maybe that will have you down and out. I've always been a nerd and a martial artist. Okay, great. Mulata, nice to know. That is good to know. Do you speak any foreign languages? Okay, so you're martial artist, book nerd, linguistic, multiple languages. Are you well traveled? That's pretty sweet. That was it for our show for today. You guys let me know what you think about this whole ordeal with Luigi. Like I said, it doesn't make sense. I'm not connecting any dots. I know some of you guys are saying, well, maybe he wanted to get caught, but it's like, okay, but why? why would you want to, go to prison and they got the worst beds in the world? So why would you opt to go there? So it's kind of weird. I don't know. Tomorrow is same time. Remember to tune in if you are online at 9:30 Eastern Standard Time. I do have my podcast with me and super producer, my co-producer, Unpopular Opinion on Chawanne Burns 2.0 channel. I believe we'll probably be talking about Jay-Z, that's whole story, and some other stuff that's happening. So tune in for that, okay? And also, of course, another podcast or our other podcasts at 1:30 Eastern Standard Time, our Business Talk podcast on this channel. So make sure you like, subscribe, and share this channel. I am sending all my good to you. I will talk to you tomorrow.